Hi there today. I want to begin with a simple question, but one that truly matters. How have your mornings been lately? Do you wake up feeling light on your feet, refreshed in your mind? Or do you sometimes feel heavy slow, as if even your blood is dragging its feet? I'm not asking just to make small talk. Over the past 30 years as a doctor, working with thousands of patients over 50, I've come to realize something. How you begin your morning can shape everything that follows. Not just your energy for the day, but your inner vitality. That quiet pulse of life where the heart beats gently, the feet feel warm, and even the more private parts of your well-being, confidence, intimacy, and drive come alive. I remember one of my older patients, Robert, 66 years old. He looked at me with a quiet gaze and said, "I don't feel like myself anymore. It's like my body's slowly pulling away from life, especially in the areas where I used to feel the most alive." I listened. I didn't jump to write a prescription. I simply asked, "What do you eat for breakfast?" Now that may sound unrelated, but here's what I've learned. What you eat within the first 60 minutes of your day can be the difference between a body that flows and one that freezes, between feeling warm and confident or cold and withdrawn. Science backs this up, and so does my everyday experience. There are 7 natural foods, simple, real ingredients that when included in your breakfast can dramatically boost blood circulation. Especially in the areas many people over 60 start to forget the feet, the hands. And yes, even the parts of us that make us feel truly alive. Have you ever felt that little tingling in the feet? Cold hands in the middle of summer? Or just an inner silence you can't quite explain? I'm not saying this to make you sad. I'm saying it so you know you're not alone, and you are not powerless. The best part, you don't need an expensive prescription. You don't need high-tech equipment. All you need is a spoon, a glass of juice, a few fresh ingredients, and just a little patience. Those small, ordinary things can restart the flow of something extraordinary inside you, your life force, your vitality, your joy. In a moment, I'll walk you through these 7 foods and why they're so powerful. But before we dive in, I want you to pause and reflect. If one single breakfast could change how you feel for the whole day, what could happen if you change your breakfast every day? Let's start right there. Do you remember the last time your breakfast actually made you feel alive? Not just full, not just fed, but truly well. I'm not talking about grabbing a muffin or sipping some coffee on the go. I'm talking about that calm, warm, flowing feeling like your blood was gently waking up with you. One of my patients, Ellen, 72, once said something I'll never forget. "I'm not exactly tired, but I don't feel alive. I wake up as if I'm just continuing yesterday. No fresh start, no new energy." So we made a small shift. We didn't give her a pill. We gave her a bowl of Greek yogurt sprinkled with a few blueberries and fresh strawberries. Small change, big difference. You see, after 50, our bodies aren't the same. Tiny blood vessels, especially in our feet, lower back, pelvic area, begin to narrow. Circulation slows. But here's the miracle: we can help it flow again by choosing the right fuel. Greek yogurt. It's not just a healthy snack, it's a quiet warrior for your gut. The probiotics it contains soothe your colon, where many hidden inflammatory processes begin. And when your gut is healthy, it can better absorb nitrates from green vegetables. Those nitrates, they're what your body uses to create nitric oxide, a molecule that opens up your blood vessels and helps your circulation thrive. As for berries, I like to call them tiny purple hearts. They're rich in anthocyanins and vitamin C, powerful antioxidants that help keep your blood vessels flexible and resilient. No wonder studies show people who regularly eat berries have lower risk of heart disease and high blood pressure. So no, I'm not asking you to prepare a fancy breakfast. Just a small bowl, a few spoonfuls of yogurt, a handful of blueberries and strawberries. That's enough. Enough to begin a day not just with a calm stomach, but with a lighter heart. Have you ever started your day like that? If not, try it. Not to diet, but to care for your heart, your legs, your inner rhythm, because sometimes that quiet beat inside you just needs a nudge to rise again. And speaking of quiet, have you ever noticed how some mornings your legs feel heavier? Like walking takes more effort, like the blood in your body hasn't fully woken up yet. One of my patients, Linda, 68, once told me, "I'm not in pain, but I feel like my blood just doesn't move, especially in my legs and down below. It's cold. It's tired. Like my body forgot how to flow. I smiled gently and asked her, "Do you eat any greens in the morning?" She laughed. "Greens for breakfast? I thought those were just for dinner." This is common, but here's the truth. For those of us over 60, just a little bit of the right greens at the right time can make a real difference in blood flow. Picture this: a humble little leafy green, soft and tender, like spring itself, but with the quiet power to open up your tiniest blood vessels. That's spinach. In medicine, spinach is one of the best natural sources of nitrate. And when that nitrate enters your body, it turns into nitric oxide, the molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax, widen, and let the blood move freely again. Especially in places that often get forgotten: the feet, the pelvis, the first areas where circulation tends to fade. I asked Linda to try something simple. Each morning, make a spinach smoothie. Just blend a handful with some banana and a squeeze of lemon. 2 weeks later, she returned and said with a smile, "I don't know if it was the spinach, but this morning, I walked out to the garden and felt light. My legs weren't dragging. I even tried some yoga, and I wasn't scared to move." You see, no pills, no machines, just a handful of green, a small act of care, and it woke up something in her body that had been quiet for too long. So if you've never tried spinach in the morning, give it a chance. Make a smoothie, toss it into a salad, even a light soup with a touch of ginger, and then listen to your body. Because maybe, just maybe, your blood is only waiting for something that's simple: to begin flowing again, to feel warm again, to come alive again. You know, it sounds simple, but that moment with your body can be a real gift. I had a patient named Paul, 64 years old, a former engineer, very precise, and only trusted what he could measure. One day he came in and said, "I take blood pressure meds, I walk every morning, but my blood vessels still feel tense, like a hose that's always under pressure." We talked for a while. Then I asked, "Have you ever tried adding avocado to your breakfast?" Paul laughed. "Avocado? I thought it was full of fat. Isn't that bad? That's a misunderstanding. I see all the time." But the truth is, avocado contains healthy monounsaturated fats like natural lubrication for your blood vessels. It helps vessel walls become softer and more flexible. And importantly, it's high in potassium, a mineral that naturally lowers blood pressure by relaxing blood vessels. I suggested something simple every morning: swap margarine or butter for a bit of fresh avocado on whole grain toast with a few slices of orange on the side. After a month, Paul returned. He sat down, his eyes brighter, and said, "I don't know how to explain it. It's not like I suddenly feel supercharged, but my body feels smoother, no more tightness, and I don't even need to check my blood pressure daily. I feel like my body's running more smoothly." See, sometimes just one slice of avocado in the morning can give you a kind of balance that medicine can't, because it doesn't just address symptoms, it nourishes your vascular system from within. What I love most about avocado is that beyond supporting vessel flexibility and blood pressure, it also helps you absorb fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, those foundational nutrients for long-term vascular health. So if tomorrow morning you're wondering what to eat, think about that slice of avocado. Simple, but it can feel like a gentle whisper to your arteries. You don't have to endure. You can relax. And sometimes that's exactly what your body needs most. Ever looked at a pomegranate and thought, how did nature make something so beautiful and complex? I remember one late autumn afternoon in my clinic. An older patient around 67 looked at me with uncertainty and asked the doctor, "Is there something simple, natural I can add to my diet to help my circulation?" I smiled and said, "Absolutely." And sometimes the answer comes from something familiar, like a glass of pomegranate juice. You know, after working with older adults for over 30 years, I've learned this health isn't just found in prescriptions. It's often in small, consistent daily choices: a glass of juice, a spoonful of seeds, or a quiet moment of self-care. Pomegranates, those jewel red gems, aren't just visually stunning. Inside them is a treasure chest for your circulatory system. Research shows that pure pomegranate juice contains powerful compounds called polyphenols, especially alagitannins. These aren't just scientific-sounding words, they're quiet warriors that protect the lining of your blood vessels. Imagine pouring water through an old rusted pipe. The flow is slowed by buildup, but if the pipe is smoothed and cleared, water flows freely again, right? That smoothing agent is nitric oxide, a tiny molecule our bodies make to lubricate blood vessels. And pomegranate juice helps your body produce more of it quickly within 30 minutes to 2 hours after you drink it. I know it sounds small, but with cardiovascular health, every small thing adds up. Just a quarter cup of fresh pomegranate seeds or a small 120 milliliter glass of pure pomegranate juice each morning. Not much, not elaborate, but consistent. Another patient of mine, Marjorie 62, said, "Doctor, having pomegranate juice every morning makes me feel like I'm starting my day with kindness to myself." I loved how she put it, a kind act for herself, because when all is said and done, caring for your health isn't always grand gestures. It often begins with choosing to treat yourself gently. Next time you're in the grocery store, walk down the fruit aisle, pick up a pomegranate, and remember, inside isn't just sweetness. It's a reminder life begins with small things. Have you ever tried pomegranate juice? Or do you have a little daily habit that helps you feel healthier? I'd love to hear your story. Please share it with me. One of my patients, Mr. Harold, 71 years old, came to see me one day feeling exhausted. His blood pressure had been fluctuating and he said, "I don't get it. I don't eat salty food. I still walk every morning, but my heart still feels heavy." I asked him about his breakfast. He listed the usual suspects, some bread, a little ham, sometimes a glass of orange juice. And I said, "What if you try adding just one small thing, like a few slices of fresh tomato, or maybe a glass of tomato juice in the morning?" He laughed. "I thought you were about to prescribe some heavy-duty medication. You know, tomatoes, this little fruit that many of us treat as a garnish, are actually a hidden treasure. Inside, they're packed with lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that helps reduce inflammation and, more importantly, supports the function of the endothelium, that thin, delicate layer lining the inside of our blood vessels. I want you to imagine this. Your blood vessels are like a river. When the riverbed is smooth, water flows gently. But when it's rough, clogged with debris, it slows, swirls, maybe even overflows. Lycopene is like a quiet gardener working each day to clean, smooth, and protect that riverbed. Here's something remarkable: just a few weeks of regularly eating tomatoes, and your blood may actually flow more freely. Not thick, not sluggish. And that's not just me talking, it's what I've seen again and again in my patients. The ones who choose to return to what's natural, simple, sustainable. Tomatoes can be eaten raw, juiced, or if you're like me and prefer a light breakfast, you can pair them with a boiled egg. Delicious and heart-friendly. Have you ever felt like your heart just feels tired, like your blood is moving slower? Your body's more sluggish, even though nothing has really changed. If so, maybe it's time to let a small tomato join you at breakfast. Because sometimes the best way to care for your heart doesn't come from a big breakthrough. It comes from a quiet little tomato waiting for you at the edge of your breakfast plate. Have you had a tomato this morning? If not, I hope you'll try tomorrow. Taking care of your heart begins with the simplest of choices. Now let me ask you to picture something small. Something you could hold between your fingers, right in the palm of your hand. And yet when it enters your body, it carries a message to your blood vessels. Open up. Be flexible. Let the flow return. I'm talking about the walnut of food many overlook, thinking it's just a snack, nothing special. But from where I stand after decades working with patients over 60, I see it as a small key unlocking healthy blood flow, especially in places we tend to forget, like the legs, the pelvic region, even areas tied to intimacy. One of my male patients, Mr. Harold, now 72, once sighed and said, "I still love my wife, doc, but my body's not cooperating anymore." And I understood, because he's not alone. Many people in their 60s and beyond begin to notice that their body doesn't respond the way it used to. But that doesn't mean it's the end of the road. Walnuts are rich in omega-3 and L-arginine, two key nutrients that help your body produce nitric oxide naturally. That's the molecule responsible for opening up your blood vessels, improving circulation, especially to the legs and the more private areas. They also help lower LDL, the bad cholesterol, which clogs arteries and makes blood flow more difficult. You don't need a lot, just 4 to 6 walnuts each morning. Toss them in some yogurt, or simply chew them with a cup of warm tea. No fuss, no hassle. But if you stay consistent and patient, you'll feel the difference. Lighter legs, easier movement. And yes, even joy, personal joy, may quietly return. I asked Mr. Harold a month later, "So how are you feeling?" He grinned a little sheepish, but his eyes sparkled. My wife says, "Maybe that doctor really does know something." Have you ever thought that the renewal of your blood vessels, your energy, could begin with something so small? Just a handful of nuts at the right moment can be a gentle signal to your body. It's time to live again, slowly, steadily, and completely naturally. Have you ever noticed? Some things in life only truly reveal their power when they come together, like music. One note is just a sound, but when you bring them together, you get a melody. Health works the same way. You've probably heard of all those healthy foods: spinach, yogurt, berries, tomatoes, dark chocolate. Individually, they're great, but together they create something special, a kind of synergy. Let me paint a picture for you. Someone eats spinach every day to boost their nitrate intake, which is wonderful for blood vessels. But the body doesn't always absorb all that nitrate on its own. You know what helps yogurt? Probiotics in yogurt don't just support digestion, they actually enhance how your body absorbs nitrates. They help keep your circulation smooth and steady. I remember a patient of mine, Eileen, 66. She once told me, "I eat so many vegetables, doctor, but I still feel sluggish." I suggested she try adding yogurt to her breakfast, maybe paired with lightly steamed greens. A few weeks later, she came back and said, "It's like my blood is flowing more gently." Have you ever thought about the last time you ate a fresh, juicy berry? Berries and tomatoes are both rich in vitamin C, which interestingly enhances the antioxidant power of flavonols found in pure dark chocolate. So when you enjoy a few pieces of dark chocolate after a meal with berries or tomatoes, you're not just treating yourself to a tasty dessert, you're creating a biological reaction that's good for your heart. And it doesn't stop there. Healthy fats like those from avocados or walnuts act as a bridge. They help your body absorb powerful nutrients like lycopene in tomatoes or polyphenols in pomegranate juice. It's no accident that in Mediterranean cultures known for excellent heart health, people often pair tomatoes with olive oil or eat seeds and nuts alongside fruits. I've seen this over and over again in my career. When we understand how foods support one another, nutrition is no longer a puzzle of disconnected pieces. It becomes a complete picture. So next time you're making breakfast, imagine this. You're not just preparing a meal, you're composing a song for your heart. A bit of yogurt, some leafy greens, a few walnuts, maybe a handful of berries or a slice of tomato. You don't need a lot. You just need the right combinations. And together they'll work quietly inside you day by day, doing something extraordinary. Have you ever tried combining foods like that? If not, maybe today's a good day to start. Because supporting blood flow isn't about one superfood. It's about harmony, how the good things in life grow stronger when they work together. Now I want you to imagine a very ordinary morning. You wake up, soft sunlight peeks through your window, and you're standing in your kitchen. In front of you, a glass of ruby red pomegranate juice, a few slices of green avocado, a bowl of Greek yogurt topped with fresh berries, and maybe some walnuts beside your black coffee. It looks simple, doesn't it? But let me tell you, that could be the most loving gift you give your blood vessels today. I've worked with many patients in their 60s and 70s. Some complained of heavy legs, some of cold hands, and some quietly struggling with low energy and fading intimacy. And when I suggest we don't need to change your entire diet overnight, just begin with one good thing each morning, they're often surprised. That's it. Yes, that's it. But do it consistently. We're not 30 anymore. But that doesn't mean our bodies can't recover. In fact, the body still listens. It still remembers. It just needs gentle, steady reminders. I remember a patient, Helen, 68, who challenged herself to change her breakfast for 30 days, using only foods that support blood vessels. After 3 weeks, she smiled and said, "I can't believe how light my legs feel. And last night I slept straight through something I haven't done in years." You see, it's not age that holds us back. It's neglect. But when you care for your body, even through a small breakfast habit, it responds. The 7 foods I've shared with you, spinach, avocado, yogurt, berries, walnuts, dark chocolate, pomegranate juice, they're not exotic. They're right there in your grocery store, in your own kitchen. If you choose just 1 or 2 each morning and stay with it for 10, 20, 30 days, I believe you'll feel the difference. No pills, no gym memberships, just mindful choices. Your age doesn't decide how alive you feel inside. The way you care for yourself does, and every morning is your chance to begin again. Gently, steadily, with hope.